Happy Tuesday, day 30 of our Lenten series. We are in Matthew chapter 21, verses 33 through 45. It is another parable. This one, as parables go, is not that hard to figure out. It'd be pretty easy for the Pharisees right away to figure out that Jesus is talking about them. So, I'm reading now. Listen to another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard. And let me just say, there were lots of vineyards. There are lots of vineyards in Israel. There used to be lots of vineyards in Israel, in part because at this point, you drank wine as opposed to water because the wine, the bacteria has been killed. And so you can't just drink water because you might get sick from the water, whereas you won't get sick from drinking the wine. So there are lots of vineyards planted at this time. And by the way, in the Old Testament, vineyards are often used as an image of Jerusalem. And throughout the Old Testament, the prophets would come and speak to the people, the vineyards, because the vineyards are out of control. And so you've got to have that imagery, that understanding in the back of your head. And the art I picked, by the way, was of a vineyard and sort of Jesus. It's an icon, actually. So this, again, the Orthodox Church, the Eastern, Russian, Ethiopian Orthodox churches that split in the 11th century with the Roman, with the Western churches. They use these icons, and this icon is sort of symbolic. You've got the 12 apostles sort of taking over from the vine. They're the 12 branches that are replacing the 12 tribes of Israel. And so, anyway, so reading on, another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard, and he put a wall around it, dug a wine press in it, and built a watchtower. Then he rented the vineyard to some farmers and moved to another place. When the harvest time approached, he sent his servants to the tenants to collect his fruit. The tenants seized his servants. They beat one, killed another, and stoned a third. Then he sent other servants to them more than the first time, and the tenants treated them the same way. Last of all, he sent his son to them. They will respect my son, he said. So I expect that you're tracking here. God sent the Old Testament prophets, and they did not pay any attention to them. Now he is sending his son. Jesus is not being particularly subtle in what he's saying. He's making it clear to them that he is the son that has been sent by the Father. But the tenants saw the son. They said to one another, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and take his inheritance." So they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those tenants? He will bring those wretches to a wretched end, they replied, and he will rent the vineyard to other tenants who will give him his share of the crop at harvest time. Jesus said to them, "Have you never read in the scriptures, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes." So he switches metaphors here. He goes from talking about vineyards to talking now about a cornerstone. And there's a little play on words because the word in Hebrew for for son is ben, and for stone is eben. And so there's a little play on this that's going on in the text. And we've also got this allusion perhaps to Psalm 118 that talks about the cornerstone, the stone that was rejected that gets elevated, and then it becomes it's over all the other stones. So Jesus is not shying away from using very specific imagery to talk about who he is and his power and how he is going to prevail. Therefore, I tell you that the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to the people who will produce its fruit. Anyone who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces. Anyone on whom it falls will be crushed. So, let me say, this is not the kind of thing that a lot of people expect they're going to find in the Bible. They expect that what they're going to find is Jesus using his inside voice to say, be nice to other people. And he says some of that at different times. More shockingly, he says that we're to love our enemies. But Jesus is also very bold. So If you've been following along, maybe you don't know why you're doing this. Maybe somebody sent you these devotions and you've been tracking because, I had to do this. Look, at some point, you have to sort of do business with Jesus. At some point, you have to figure out if you're with him or not. If you're going to treat Jesus as the Jewish firebrand, radical prophet, claiming to be God and the focal point of all of history, or you think that he's something else. So there's a lot of imagery for you to think on today. Let me suggest some possibility of what you might want to do in order to sort of keep this idea fresh, is pick up a stone, small stone, and carry it in your pocket or put it in your purse or whatever. Put it on the dashboard of your car, put it on your night dresser and look at it and just be reminded, Jesus claims to be the chief cornerstone. He claims to be the center of everything, right? It's not a small claim. It's either true or it's not. I believe that it's true. I will see you tomorrow.